Hi, my name is Jo Hadley. I'm a somatic counsellor, and this is my podcast, Being a Human Lighthouse. I recorded another podcast earlier today, and I've decided to release that a bit later. So I've come back to re record one, and this is it. On previous podcasts, I've talked about that I was on the dark night of the soul, or more appropriately, the dark night of or the dark year of the soul, I should say. And how I had moved, let's see, once, twice, three times, the four times. I've now moved four times in the last 11 months. After asking the universe to, lead me to my inner wisdom, to guide me to my high power, to live from my true authentic self and to let go of any unconscious patterns and beliefs that were holding me back. Well, the universe listened and it has been working overtime the past 12 months. And I have again moved. This time, hopefully, I don't think it's the last time yet. I'm not sure whether this is my ultimate destination or whether this is my destination for the time being. I'm not very good at being a psychic, but I suspect with what my ultimate goal is, that is creating a healing center, which I'll talk a little bit more about next time. I call it the End of the Earth Consciousness Collective at the moment. And I don't think it's in a capital city. So I'm in a city at the moment. And so that's why I don't think my ultimate destination is here. But I am here for a reason, and I'm here for a period of time. And I am striving to allow the universe to just lead me in whatever direction it feels fit to lead me in, which has been very challenging for the part of my personality that likes to know where it's going, likes to know what's happening, likes to be in a bit of control, my little control pattern. As I've talked about and written about before, I know with myself, I have a little control pattern that's been amazingly helpful. And it's no longer able to lead the way and help me, but in the past, it's basically kept me alive and kept me safe and kept me employed and kept me getting out of all sorts of things in the past. But as we expand into ever higher levels of consciousness, we outgrow these patterns. If we're not living from our authentic heart, from our true wisdom, if we're actually living from old egoic patterns and conditioning. And this is what this is. It's been a really tricky pattern to let go of because it has been so helpful. I mean, some patterns are really obvious, some are really obvious to spot and to work on. But sometimes when they're intertwined and actually giving us, well, all of them give us benefit to start with. But my tricky pattern has been very beneficial for probably decades longer than I, in hindsight, wish it had been. But it is what it is. And I give it lots of compassion and gratitude. And I tell this pattern it doesn't have to leave completely because it's really good at keeping me safe, sometimes too good, which it sometimes keeps me isolated from others. And I am now entering an era of my life where I recognize that this is no longer needed and this is actually holding me back and limiting me, that I need to be more open to expand into a higher level of consciousness, to meet new people who live already in higher levels of consciousness, and to, no longer be tied down by faulty beliefs and conditioning from my past. I've talked a lot about how I've been working lately on a lot of patterns that are deep, that I thought were just mine, but fairly certain they go back at least a couple of generations. It's interesting, my mother and I were very close when she was alive. And she told me a lot about my birth, the upbringing, like there's a whole lot of things from my past that she told me a lot of stories about. So now that I'm doing this work, I can actually put her stories with my experiences and how I've turned out. And it's been very, very informative and helpful at not only identifying where patterns have come from, but also having a lot of knowledge about her, about even about her mother and what's happened to her. It's given me a lot of insight into how the ancestral issues are now actually affecting me as well. I didn't think so, but they definitely are. And I've been working on those. I sometimes get very frustrated that I've done so much work, yet still feel like so much stuff is coming up that's painful. But I also know that as we go along this road less traveled, as we climb the consciousness ladder, we're better equipped to deal with the darkest, horriblest, gunkiest stuff. And in this past year, sometimes it's been overwhelming. And at times I felt like it's going to be too much for me, but I have been changing just about every aspect of my life. And as a counselor, when a client comes to me, even changing one aspect of their life, we, acknowledge how difficult that is, how challenging that is, and give the person a lot of compassion and space to explore the intensity of this change. And it's interesting in my life, I've changed, well, like I said, 4 times I've moved. I finished studying, and what I was studying before in my attempt to aim towards this healing collective and do this new work. But I've got two hand injuries. It happens to be on both hands now, that stopped me from being able to do the work that I was doing before, which now I see as the universe showing me that I was holding on to that work. I was loving it because I was helping people. I was working and doing a lot of energy work, a lot of emotional release, just helping people connect pain and different issues in their life with their health and with their injuries. And doing this on a hands-on fashion and just using a lot of my psychoeducation and some of the mental health tools and psychoanalytical or psychotherapeutic tools that I'd learned. And I love that. But I realized with these hand injuries that it was actually preventing me from moving to the next level. I kept holding on because I was liking that work and I was getting rewarded for that work. And ironically, I ended up with these issues on both hands that now render that work basically impossible. And it made me realize that I do have this habit and tendency and a pattern to hold on to things a bit longer than I need to. Possibly out of safety, out of familiarity, probably out of fear of stepping into something truly unknown. And in the next podcast, I will talk a bit more about stepping into the real unknown, which I've been doing. I think I've written before about how I resonated surprisingly with a cartoon, a Disney, I think it's a Disney film, Frozen 2. But over the last 6 years, I felt that was almost like a metaphorical roadmap of my life, where I resonated with everything happening to the character Elsa. That I had these abilities I didn't quite know what to do with, and then there was everything turned into the great unknown. I had to go and investigate and step into the unknown and address the past. And I guess if I get to the ultimate end goal of that film, I would say that is like meeting the true higher self. And in that film, they say that you are the one you are looking for. And that's kind of how I've been living and stepping towards that part of myself this past 6 years, exponentially, of course, in the last year and a half. Everything seems to be rapidly expanding and accelerating. Every day is faster. Things that I thought about last week even seem obsolete now. So, anyway, I have reached a destination that I think I'll be here for at least a while. I'm just keeping an open mind about what the universe wants because I have told the universe that I am willing to surrender my control, my desire to steer and know what's coming, and to allow the universe to just guide me and let it unfold. And of course, these last few weeks, while I've strived very hard to do that, there have been times I've caught myself desperately unhappy and miserable trying to control and upset because I don't know what's coming. The universe has sent me to a new city, and I did ask. I threw a lot of options up into the air, and I see the synchronicity and possibly, hopefully, I won't know until futures unfold, that I've been sent towards where I want this End of the Earth Healing Collective, or End of the Earth Consciousness Collective, to be located, at least in the state, because I'm in the state of Tasmania, which is the most southern state of Australia. It is more rural, more environmentally friendly and conscious than the other states, and a lot more sparsely populated. And it's also closer to the South Pole. So it is colder, cooler, and what I would call the end of the earth. So I'm hoping that being sent here, rather than somewhere like Alice Springs or Queensland, I'm actually being given a sign that maybe what's in my heart and in my mind the last decade is one step closer to fruition. Though right now, I know that that's not what's being created, at least not that physical form. I'm here to do some other inner work before I get there. I'm here to do a new kind of work that doesn't involve my hands, but also allows me to develop my online business, my somatic counseling business. That's quite new. It's something that I've just been doing for the last year online. And like anything new, it needs a bit of funding and support from other areas, which is what I'm here for, doing some work that's new that hopefully I can use some related skills. I'm hoping that it can help me with expanding my listening, my deep listening. It can expand my compassion. It can expand my ability to tune into myself while I'm communicating with others. And hopefully, I may not be doing exactly the somatic counseling work with people in my job, but I do hope that, and I know we'll be expanding some skills in an area that I need to further myself, because that's how it works. So, knowing that I've been in some dark places this last 12 months, so I'd like to just celebrate today the fact that I have consistently met my pain. I've consistently met my fear. I've consistently met my discomfort for being in the unknown and gone within to deepen the tools and techniques that I'd like to use with others. And I think we all have to celebrate when we do the hard work, when we challenge ourselves, we go out of our comfort zone. Other people may not see it and give us acknowledgement. We can't always rely on that. It's nice. But it's also not as important as acknowledging ourselves. So this podcast is acknowledging myself today with compassion, knowing that I still have some layers to get through, that all is not perfect, but then again, nothing is ever perfect. It's an ever evolving process. And I've come a long way and been willing to let go of my control and my control pattern and allow the universe to guide me. There are times when I don't like what the universe has done. I don't like where it guides me. I don't like what it gives me. And I do try to notice myself, trying to wrench back a bit of control. I think we all like to have just this little safety and know what's coming and what's happening. But I do have these moments of panic and fear. I'm human and I allow myself to feel them and sit with them. And I've asked friends and family, colleagues to help when I need to with this. But I think ultimately, over the last year, I have accessed peace quicker when issues and challenges have arisen. Even in my darkest moments and with the darkest fears, if I sat with them for a while, eventually they would melt into peace, contentment. And I've managed to find lots of things to be grateful for, lots of beautiful examples of the universe being on my side. And so I've celebrated seeing those. It has been a lot about feeling and embracing the unpleasant sensations within my body and going ever deeper into these issues. I guess a year ago, I wasn't even aware of the ancestral component. I thought they were purely my issues, but now I'm working on the ancestral portion of this as well. So with the sitting with the uncomfortable and the unpleasant, I've nurtured the positive. I've done more breath work, more exercise. I've been more compassionate with myself and kind to myself, especially when things are going not so great and things are most fearful. I have discovered an inner child in me that was terrified. And so when she comes out and is terrified, I know to spend some time comforting her and allowing her to be seen. And I'm more comfortable knowing that I'm connected to all that is, and that there's a field and a force around us that connects us all, and that everyone is a mirror of myself, and that we're all trying to understand ourselves and get to our deep inner core, our true self, the higher power that guides us and connects us to each other. So as I celebrate how far I've come in the last 11 months, I will just finish off with my healing meditation. If you'd like to do this with me, I just encourage you to lie down or sit down. Don't do two things at once, because healing or getting in touch with our inner wisdom requires us to be present. And it's very hard to be present when our attention is split with a couple of different things. So either sit or lie down. If you feel comfortable, just close your eyes. You can place your hand on your heart area. I encourage you just to take 3 slow, deep breaths, imagining it's going in and out through the heart center. And the air is filling up every cell in your body. And as this air is filled with light and information and quantum knowledge that's invisible, chi energy, wisdom, just imagine every cell in your body is receiving this. And as you breathe out, just imagine you're letting go of everything you no longer need. Toxins, patterns, beliefs, emotions. Just breathe in, filling up everything, every cell in your body being refreshed with light, wisdom, love, peace. And as you breathe out, letting go of everything you no longer need. Just take a couple more breaths. Now just invite you to feel your feet on the floor. Just imagine there's roots growing from your feet to the center of the universe. Oops, from your feet to the center of the earth. Just feel your connection to the physical plane. And then just imagine you've got a cord extending from the top of your head, and this one's going to the center of the universe. So now you're a bridge between the universe and all that is above, and the earth and the physical plane below. Just breathe in and breathe out, allowing this connection and allowing yourself to be a bridge. Now I invite you to just tune into the sensations that you can sense in your body. Anything pleasant or neutral, just notice. These are easy to pay attention to and be curious about. And now I invite you to just be aware of anything unpleasant that's arising within your body. I just remind you that you're safe, you're sitting or lying. These are just unpleasant sensations. Often when we give ourselves some time and some space and allow these sensations to bubble to the surface, it's our body telling us and showing us what we've been holding on to and what's ready to release. If it becomes overwhelming, just open your eyes, tune into your five senses, wiggle your toes and feet, listen to the sounds around you. But if it's not overwhelming, I just invite you to stay with these unpleasant sensations. Just be curious about them. You don't want to judge them. You just want to notice them. It's in the noticing and witnessing and allowing them to be there that the transformation occurs. Now I invite you to just place your hand on your heart again. Take 3 more low, slow breaths, just breathing in through the heart area, filling up every cell in your body with light, love, information, support, safety. Breathing out what you no longer need. Now stay tuned into the heart area and just start to tune into your body about how it would feel in your body if you were living a life from your heart, from your soul, guided by your higher power. Where would you feel it in your body? What would it feel like? What would feeling this joy or this peace or this love feel like? Where would you feel it? Does it feel expansive? Does it bring excitement and joy? You don't have to know what the outer experience would be. You don't have to know what you'd be doing or where you'd be living. But if those visions come up, great. How does it make you feel? The most important thing is when we're living from our higher wisdom, our higher power, how does it make us feel? How safe do we feel? How much peace do we feel? How much connection to ourselves and others do we feel? Just really tune in to what it would feel like, or even suspect what it would feel like if you were living from your heart, your soul, your higher power. By tuning in and even being willing to tune in to what it might feel like, is allowing your body to experience this. So it gives your body a GPS system to guide it so it can actually move you towards this. We are not meant to suffer and have lives of misery. We're meant to live lives of connection, compassion, love, peace, joy, connection with ourselves and others. We're meant to support each other and lift each other up. But often, with the society and the conditioning we've had in the past, we've lost this connection ability. We have to reconnect to it. So just sitting, intending to connect to what it would feel like is a really important step. And now, as this meditation comes to a close, I just invite you to tune into your body. Notice where you're sitting or lying, how your body's connected to the surface that you're touching. You can wiggle your hands and toes. You can open your eyes if they were closed. Then just tune in again and see, how do you feel? Do you feel any different to what you did at the beginning of the meditation? Perhaps you feel lighter. Perhaps you feel different energetic sensations. Maybe something that needs your attention has surfaced and it may not be pleasant. What has arisen? Or maybe nothing's changed. Nothing appears to change. But even if we don't notice changes, something's always happening. It's impossible not to. We're always evolving and changing. We're always different from one second to the next. But when we intend to change, when we do more conscious work, we become more aware of the changes, but we also can accelerate those. So I hope you're feeling a bit lighter, a bit more in tune with yourself. And I wish you all a great week of being your own human lighthouse and lighting up the world. Thank you. Have a great week.